want to walk through the steps of how we watercolor at the Sunshine Shack and how it's introduced. Many of the kids in room 2 and 3 have extensive experience with watercolor, especially liquid watercolor. And the thing is, there's no real magic to it other than it's important to stay present and expressive and have a set technique of how the material actually works in response. So we have a watercolor brush is one of the things you need, a little jug of water, a nice folded paper towel. I like to put the water on top of the paper towel to keep it from moving, and then put the brush, lay it on top. Now I am lucky enough to have one of these to hold my colors in. If you can use anything, don't use egg cartons because the liquid watercolor will actually seep through, but use something that's plastic. Any little container is fine. Watercolor paper, and then I have these lovely birds of paradise from my garden that I decided were beautiful colors and wanted to paint them. So I created a palette of 2 different shades of orange, a purple, and I don't really have green, so I'm using like an aqua color. Now there's 2 different ways that you can do watercolor. The first way that I like to do with the children is to first do a representational drawing as best they can. And that means drawing the outside lines of what they're going to paint with any type of ballpoint pen or a Sharpie. And that way, when they're filling in the color, it helps them be a little bit more specific because watercolor can kind of just go everywhere. So this way, they can kind of be specific with the shapes that they want to create and where the certain colors are going to go. And then again, they don't have to do this, but it is one option. The other option is to be more interpretive with your watercolor and really just kind of like, instead of having something be literal and representational, to have it just more be about the vibe and the colors and the vibrancy of what you're painting. All right, this is a very quick drawing of the birds of paradise. I'm trying to get in all the little details here. All right, so the first thing is, and the children know this, you dip your brush in the water. You get it nice and wet, and then you tap it on the side. And then I'm going to choose orange. Now, this is very vibrant, so I just do a teeny tiny little amount, and then I start to go on the inside very delicately. You have to hold it with your index finger and your thumb. That's what I get the children to do. It's really good for their fine motor development. And then, when they decide that they want to change colors, which this is the big reveal for them, is they have to clean their brush, and then they have to wipe it onto the paper towel. Now children at this age love to just dip water paint. So I'm trying to add some steps in for them so they can be a little bit more specific with their choices. Nothing is ever perfect when you're teaching something to children at this age for the first time. They're going to do what naturally is impulsive to them, and that's okay too. It's just reiterating the steps. Okay, now I'm going to add a new color, the purple. I'm going to add the purple, and then I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to start doing the stalk around. Very gentle, and I have my 3 colors. There you go. Now, one of the things that's really amazing about this watercolor as well, if you want to use it like this, is seeing 2 different colors meet one another and seeing how they interact. And children find that absolutely fascinating. So if I took, and this would be another time, if I took one of these colors here, and then I took a lighter color, and I blended them together, really is magical to see how the colors really blend with what I'm doing here closer. Sorry, everybody. You can kind of see what's happened there. And that's about it with the watercolors. You can, if it's not flowers, it could be a favorite truck. It could be a favorite toy. It could be something, or they can just like paint with one color and see what happens with the tones and the shades and the different shapes that happen with that particular like color, especially if you like add water, it might get lighter or darker, would create this marbly effect. So anyway, I am always here for questions. So please feel free to reach out if you have any, and happy painting. Miss you all.